Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am North Dakota, and this is an update video for you guys going over current status of the farm, what our next steps are. We had a little hiccup here with the PDUs, working with the electrical inspection out in North Dakota. They require some additional changes to the PDU, and after we have done those changes, then they will give us a permanent occupancy permit. But right now we're just trying to get with them to give us a temporary occupancy permit. But anyway, today's video will be showing you guys around the farm, what we got so far, and yeah, just a general update. So if you think that's interesting, you know what to do. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, go to cryptollc.org. If you're looking to set up a Bitcoin mining farm, Asic farm, could be anything, L7s, L9s, WhatsMiners, Avalon miners, Cannon miners, even the new Seal miners you guys saw at the mining disrupt, the A2, any of those will work at an Asic farm. So if you're interested in any of that, go to cryptollc.org. And before we get started, Bitcoin saves your wealth and Jesus Christ saves your soul. All right, let's go. So showing you guys around. Here's our standard PDU. These are the ones that come with the containers. KLS brand. It's a good PDU. High-end PDU. You know, works everywhere. But in North Dakota, they require a higher SCCR rating for PDUs, and so these PDUs, we're going to have to get different ones. Now, we are working with them to allow us to run as is for now until we get those new PDUs in, and hopefully they're going to allow that. So that's the current status for the PDUs. That's why we're not running anything right now, because of that reason. Anyway, we can show you guys around the containers, see how it's built. These are all going to be removed. These are the roof. So we have an 8-foot roof that's going to come up, but we decided to do a little bit of changes. We're only going to do a 4-foot roof for the intake exhaust. So a little change there. Additional things that they required here in North Dakota is they require you to install a 125 volt outlet into each container. So we had to pull this guy in, even though we don't use 125, but it's just mandatory here to get that. And so we had to do that. You have to put a transformer outside to convert from 240 to 125. I'll also show you guys around the cabinet. So here's our cabinet here. 60 amp breakers. You got your half a meg, on off right here. But you have your 740 amp, basically half a megawatt breaker. And then you got two cabinets, the other ones over there. But you can see here how we have everything completed. All the 750 kc mills coming in. You get your neutral, your ABC, then you got your ground. See that? All ready to go. They're all brought from the, this is the opposite side where the PDUs are, but they're all brought from that side over there. You guys can see that. So they're coming out there and coming back in through conduits. So when I get outside, I'll show you guys around. Then on the bottom over here, you have additional breakers. This is where they brought in, I think it's, yeah, right over here is where they brought in their 120 volt. They put it on a breaker there. So that'll give us that 120. That's the breaker for that. And usually if you buy this container with fans, then they have the fan breakers in there as well. And this container does not have any fans. So you can see here on the exhaust side, so the exhaust is going to be, so you can see this is that roof. And we're going to use some of it to cover half of the exhaust. So the exhaust is going to stick out 8 feet. The exhaust netting. And the reason for the netting and everything is because it gets windy out here. It gets to like 60 mile per hour winds. And so we got to protect the intake and exhaust of the miners, so that when it's really, really raining hard or there's a blizzard, especially in the wintertime, and it's 60 mile per hour winds, 70 mile per hour winds, you got to make sure that none of that snow or rain blows into the exhaust or into the intake. So that's how we're going to build that out. And we're having a crew come out here on Monday, a couple of guys, and they should knock this out pretty fast. And they're going to have all that done immediately. So by the way, since we're talking about some time here, that's going to be thrown away. But by the way, since we're going over timelines here. So, you know, we are waiting for the inspector to get back to us. He had to go talk to the executive director for North Dakota Electrical Commission. So when he goes through and talks with him and they allow us to run as is, then hopefully that'll be on a Monday. He'll get back to me on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we could call in an electrical inspection. Maybe Monday, might be possible, but basically Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we're going to call in the occupancy permit, the temporary occupancy permit. So they'll come out and they'll give us that temporary. And then that's when we call in to the utility company and tell us to turn us on. So we're fully complete with, by the way, with everything from the utility company. So we're ready to go. We just got to give them a call and they're going to flip a switch and give us power. But they're not going to flip the switch until you pass the electrical inspection. So that's the current status there. Give you guys a little bit more information on how we're running the network here. So everything is run on a Ubiquiti. And this is a smart 48 port switch. See that? It's all done through fiber optics. Here's a fiber optic coming in. And all the containers are tied together with fiber optics all throughout. They're all going down to container 1, where we have the main internet and all the routers and switches and all that. But fiber optics coming in, and then all of these switches, they're all manually routed here to this switch over here. So you got your 24 port switches, and I think you have a total of 7 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 over here, 6 on that side, 6 and 6. So 6 times 4. So you got 24 switches, and they're all going into that 48 port switch. What that gives us is that gives us the ability to control a switch per port. So then that way, if we wanted to turn off a certain section, turn off a certain amount of miners, we can do that. Or if we wanted to investigate any network issues and things like that. Basically, it just gives us more control. So that's what that's for. Yeah, now let's go outside and show you guys some more out there. So here's our disconnect. And again, it's coming from the primary meter over there. Brought here, disconnect. And then this disconnect is how you can turn off all of the 8 megawatts at once. And there's a little switch on the side over here. Let's see, where is it? I just skip it over. Oh, it's actually over here. You have a little switch here. And then that's how you can basically turn off your 8 megawatts. So if you have a problem over there with a transformer, you can go over here, flip it, kills all the power, and then you can work on a transformer. If let's say you had some issues with it. By the way, since we're getting a temporary occupancy permit, we're only going to be running these 5 containers until the other 3 arrive, which means the very, very last transformer won't be running. So you see this guy here, it's 3 megawatts, right? And that one over there is 3 megawatts. And then the last one is 3. So that last one over there is not going to be used until the remaining 3 containers arrive. So yeah, that's pretty much how everything is split up here. And then in terms of power coming in, so it's all underground through those conduits inside. You got double run for each cabinet. You can see 2, 2, 2, 2. And then we also have 1 conduit coming in for the fiber optics into each container. So here is container 1, pulling in power from those 2 conduits in. Then we have all the networking here. These are the containers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 containers going into this 8th one over here. This is where we pull the fiber optics. So we're pulling fiber optics into this box here, going up and going all in there. So all of those fiber optics are all coming into this container over here, and this is container number 1. You can see all the fiber optics right here. Gonna put them away. But we got, again, everything is run on Ubiquiti. So we got our NAS, then we have our Starlink connection over here, then it's plugged into our router, going into a 48 port switch right there that's managed. And we got all our camera systems here. We have our sensors. We're going to be running sensors here as well. So we have temperature sensors, humidity sensors, things like that. All of that is being set up. And in the future, we're also going to have door sensors, like magnetic doors, so you can open up a door with a badge. So you can walk up, put a badge on a door, right? Have it like probably over here somewhere. You tap it, and then it'll open up the container. You can get in here. Yeah, some of the changes for like container number 1 is that you can see we're running some Raritan PDUs. Still got to dust everything out here. So some of these are Raritan, some of these are those KLS PDUs. But again, we're going to have to get rid of these and swap them out for a different PDU of a higher SCCR rating. So we're going to be doing that here shortly. Yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much it in terms of showing you guys what we got. And we're pretty much finished here. We're already on the inspector. When the inspector comes back, powers us on, and then on Monday we're gonna have a crew out here that they're gonna finish up the air filtration system. That'll be done in a couple of days, and then immediately, pretty much at that same exact time is when hopefully we get the response from the electrical inspector. And then after that, this is all ready to go. We have all the miners, they're all on standby, ready to be plugged in. All the internet is complete, switches, everything's online, ready to go. We just gotta take the miners, plug them in, and you're ready to go. So again, we're just waiting on that final step there. So almost got this, and yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Hope you guys like it. You know what to do. Like, subscribe. That's gonna be it for this one. Until next time. Goodbye.